Welcome to Can Do Conversations Q&A edition. I am Cheryl Williams, the Can Do Mom.
I'm CJ Williams, the Can Do Dad. Thank you for being here.
Welcome, guys. We are excited to have you here to answer your questions.
Thank you for sending them.
Yes, we love these episodes for Q&A because we're able to, see where you guys need a little more insight, a little bit more guidance. And so make sure if you have a question about one of the conversations that we're having, send that in and it might get featured on our next Q&A episode.
Yes.
So we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for doing that. So
and thank you for you.
Without further ado, let's dive in to today's first question. How can I stay motivated and on track with my personal development journey?
No long breaks. Keep it in motion. Always be learning.
And I think you've got to know what you want. What are you doing this for, right? Is it just because someone else is doing it? Is it because, you want something, but you don't really have enough information about what you really want, and so you're kind of just going through the motions. You're on this journey. You're kind of motivated right now. The challenge with motivation is motivation wanes, right? And so you have to have a reason. You have to have a why. You have to have an outcome that you're looking to get so that when that motivation goes, you have an end result you want to get to. So it doesn't matter that the motivation is gone because you're determined to get the result that you want to get because you have a big enough reason behind it. And so I would evaluate, what is it that you're afraid that the motivation is going to fall off? Maybe previously things like that, you've let things like that happen.
Started and stopped.
It's because you haven't identified the reason that you're doing this in the first place. And when time goes on and it's not fun and it's just mundane, you're going through the motions, that journey, it's a journey for a reason, right? And so
you won't remember everything either.
No,
that's your learning.
You've got to continue. The worst thing you can do is stop, right? And then if you do stop, continue to stop and never get back on, or let days, weeks, months, and sometimes years go by.
Then you'll be done with it
before you do get back on. And so, if you have a little blip in the road, that's okay. Hey, take the blip and keep moving, right? And so you have to know and identify what you're in this for. What are you looking to get out of this? What's the end result that you're wanting? And what's the reason that you're doing this in the first place? And then keep your eye on that, prize. Right? So that you can continue moving forward. When you know where you're going, if you stop here, you know that you didn't ever get there. And so you've got to keep this out in front of you.
You'll keep pushing.
So you keep pushing.
Until you get there, and then you'll have another reason why to keep going.
Yeah, so I would evaluate, what is your why, what is your reason, and where are you going? So that way on days you don't feel like doing it, you do it anyways because you know where you want to go. Alrighty? What is a good first step to take if I want to start something new but feel overwhelmed?
Well, why are you overwhelmed in the first place and wanting to do something else? You need to figure out why you're even going that route.
Well,
because if you're already overwhelmed and want to make a change, you need to stop and figure out what you really want to do first, right?
Well, it says, what is a good first step if I want to start something new but feel overwhelmed? Normally, a lot of people have, in the beginning, you're going to feel overwhelmed because you don't know what the heck you're doing, right? And that's okay. Overwhelmed doesn't mean stop, right? Overwhelmed doesn't mean, okay, well, we're not going to do that anymore.
No,
it means you need to simplify it down and keep moving forward on that. Because when you start getting into action, you don't have time to be overwhelmed. You don't have time to overthink or over-process or put together a plan that you're never really going to do. Start taking the actions.
Well, that's the learning steps.
And we talked about it a couple episodes ago about moving forward. You got to just keep moving. And these labels that people love to, I'm overwhelmed, I'm anxious, I'm this, I'm that. It's like, let go of all those things and start doing the action. And it's amazing how much of that subsides because you're focused on the actions, that you're focused on the work that needs to be done, not the anxiety or the overthinking or the overwhelm, because you're just sitting here doing nothing and so it's all coming at you. Versus if you start taking action, that goes by the wayside.
Well, maybe you're doing everything in your life is overwhelmed, that you put that label on it and you never get anywhere you want to go because you're always putting a label on something like that. So you need to figure out why you even said that in the first place, even when you're getting started on something. because then you'll never get going on anything that you want to do because you're going to put a label on it and then stop and not even go forwards.
But that's what most people do. They make something up so big in their head that it's insurmountable, it's overwhelming, it's uncomfortable, it's difficult, all the things you can think of until they never do it, right? It's like it was too much. It was overwhelming.
So it's like
it was,
label.
And so it's
label.
really, look at it as labels are excuses as to why. Fill in the blank, right? I'm overwhelmed, so I'm not going to do this. I don't like, I'm over. So you've got to get past the excuses, because anything that prohibits you from doing what you said you want to do is an excuse.
Well, a label is a locked door, and you're never going to get through it if the door is already locked and you don't even know where the key is because you automatically put a label on it.
Yeah, the label is the lock.
Right.
Yeah.
You're in one loop that you can't get out of.
And that's the whole point, is that you need to get off the cycle and off the loop that you keep repeating over and over again. You got to jump off, right? And then take a different action. And that's the main thing. It's like we always talk about talk, plan, take action, and action being the most important part. But also consistent action. Action today and no action tomorrow or next week isn't action. It's about consistently taking the actions that you need to, and let go of the labels, let go of all these things that you've put on yourself, and just start doing.
Yes. Shake all those labels off. Just shake it.
And by doing, you'll start seeing, you know what? It's actually that overwhelming when I'm actually doing it. When I'm sitting here contemplating and overthinking it, it's overwhelming. But when I get into the action, it's not, because I'm in action and the rest dissipates.
Then you applaud yourself.
You need to keep moving. All right. How can I seek out and join a supportive community or network of like-minded individuals? Well, funny you should ask, because you're here.
You're here right now.
Right here, right now. And Can Do Conversations is a Can Do community. We're the Can Do family.
That's growing.
And so we have the Can Do attitude, Can Do mindset. People are on a path for growing and expanding. And so in the Can Do community that you can become a part of, that is what it is. You're surrounding yourself with like-minded people who are on a journey of betterment.
Their own journey.
Yep. Everyone's on their own journey, but we can all help and encourage and collaborate
and root each other on.
And speak well and help each other. And that's exactly what the Can Do community is. So I would suggest that's an easy answer for that one. Join the Can Do community and be active in there.
And spread the message.
Instead of spending so much time on other social medias and stuff, start diving deep into there, and you'll be, delightfully surprised all the goodies you can get out of that. So looking forward to it. Yes, we look forward to seeing you in the Can Do community. How important is it to have a clear goal before taking action?
Clear goal is great. That's talking about it. You're setting it up. And then you make your plan on how you're going to get there, and then take action.
Yeah. And
our mantra: talk, plan, take action.
Yep. That's our motto right there. And I want to look at the word, a clear goal. And so the only thing I would caution you on this is sometimes people feel like they need to have the exact end goal. They need to know exactly what they want before they can get started. And sometimes that can be a pitfall in and of itself, because you can have an idea of the goal that you want, but the further away from that you are, the less specific it needs to be. The closer you get to something, the more specific you need to be for that. And so be okay with having a goal. Maybe it's not crystal clear right now exactly how,
and be okay with that.
But still be okay with that and move forward, because the closer you get, the more clarity you're going to get on what you actually want out of that goal.
Right now, it's too far away for you to even imagine it. So the closer you get, the better you'll be.
And the more specific you can be on exactly what it is that you're wanting. You need to set a goal. You need to have an idea of what you want, and then you need to move forward. And as you get closer, you fine-tune that, and then it turns crystal clear for you. It doesn't always start crystal clear, but the closer you get to it, the more clarity you get, because you're getting closer to actually what you want.
And it'll never be a straight line. It's always going to go like this, because of every pivot that you made, and your goal is going to change also.
Yeah, it'll expand, it'll
and
move,
grow into something else.
What's interesting is right now you see it this way, but when you're over here, because he said things are going to turn and move. you have a different perspective of it. So sometimes when
Yes.
you're over here, you're like, you know what? I actually want a little more of this over here.
Yep.
Or, oh, you're over here. And so that's why you need to have an idea of what you want your goal to be, but you don't need to be so specific and so finite and so detailed on every little aspect of it until you get closer to it. All right. What are some strategies for setting and achieving personal and professional goals? The strategy that I would say is don't overcomplicate it, right? You need to set some goals. You need to have an idea of what you want to do, and then you got to get moving. That's the main thing is like so many people, they put together their dream board and they put together their goals and they brainstorm and they put all these things together
and they look at it every day.
Some people look at it every day. Some people look at it once and throw it away and never look at it again, but they spend so much time on it. It's color coded and it's beautiful.
Put it in the closet.
And yet they're not doing anything to move towards that. And so the way that you set the goals that you're looking for, both professionally and personally, is what do you want? Answer the question of what you want, and then you put together the goals based on that.
And ask yourself over and over again. Because every time you ask yourself that, you're not going to answer it. So you need to keep asking until you figure it out.
Because most people say, what do you want? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, well then we need to get to know thyself a little more as to what you want. The reason you're not getting anything is because you don't know what you want. And so you're going to continue.
The universe is not opening up for you.
You're going to continue getting more of what you've gotten because you're not clear on what you want. So how can you say you don't want what you already have if you don't know that you want something different? And so you have to start being more specific and more strategic in what it is that you do want. Personally, professionally, in your mind, in your body, in your relationships, in your finances. Like, what are you wanting? Put those out there and then start moving towards that.
And get it on paper.
Yeah. Get it out of your head and on paper.
Write it down. No matter how long it takes.
And it shouldn't take that long. And maybe you need a brainstorming session. You just need to start writing. Just write and write and write
Play
and
some
write.
soft music, sit back, and just go.
And then start looking at it and say, okay, these are all the things I wrote down. What do I actually want out of this, right? And then focus on that, write those down, and then you need to look at it every day, morning and night. You need to write those things down again. It should not be a long, long list of 500 things. It needs to be 5 or 10 things right now that you're going after. And then you can write those down morning and night, right? You can look at them, 5 or 10 things that you're going after. Maybe one for your mind, one for your body, one for your finances, one for your relationships, one for, business or other things.
And that's going to change too.
Those are going to evolve over time. Maybe some of them are longer, like it's going to take a while to get to this. This is a shorter one. So again, this is on you. But the main thing is you've got to identify what you want, then you create from there. And if you don't know what you want, it's very hard to put that together.
Yes.
So get clear. And then get moving.
Get it out.
Is it better to focus on one goal at a time or multitask and tackle several?
How much time do you have? It takes time.
Well, it also depends on what you want.
Correct.
So this is not a straight and narrow. It depends on how good are you at handling and doing multiple things at once.
Know yourself.
Can you work on something for your mind and work on something for your body? If so, do both of those, right? Can you be working on your mind and your body and then say, I want to work on something for my relationships? Great, do that. Can you work on your mind and your body and your relationships and your finances? If so, then do something with that. So again, it's maybe in the beginning you need to focus on 1 or 2 things and then get those moving and grooving. And then say,
once you're stronger.
Yeah, once you've gotten some
reps
time in there, then add another. And then you keep moving forward and then add another. Because if you all of a sudden say, here's all the things I want to do, and you haven't done one, so you need to play with this a little bit. Like we have multiple things that we're working on at once, right? But we didn't start this yesterday.
No.
So, we are always working on something for our mind and for our body and for our relationships and for our finances and for our business. And we're constantly doing those things. It takes time in each and every one of those, but we also know when we're doing that and we're devoting the time, we're moving closer in all of those avenues as well. So I believe it's not an either or, it's an and. You can do multiple things, but you have to be focused and clear on what you want in each of those things and what you need to be doing. And it shouldn't be an all-day process for any one of those things.
Once you get it down for your mind and your body, once you know what you're doing and the steps you're taking, because if you're going to do 100 steps for your mind, it's not going to work out the way you want it to. Or your body. Okay, I threw away everything and now I'm shopping and I got some oranges in the fridge and this and that, and that's not really taking care of your body. So figure out the few things you're going to do for your mind, the few things for your body, the few things to reaching out, building your relationships even more, and then your business. What am I going to do on my finances? Am I opening up a new business? Am I going to focus more on this or focus more on that? But get that clear picture, and then you're able to live your life daily and automatically taking care of your mind, body, finances, and relationships. It's going to be an automatic thing and not too much energy in one.
Right. You want to
spread it out and live that.
But you've got to be focused in each one when you're in it.
Right. You already know that you're going to do your reading. You're going to learn something new in the morning. You already know in the morning you're going to take care of your body. You're going to eat well. You're going to exercise. You know what I'm saying? And it's just continuous motion.
So this question it depends on you. You can do multiple. It just depends on, you've got to build up to where you're doing one and then you can do the other consistently. We're not talking about one day do one, the next day do another.
Or one text to somebody
that's
saying
not
hello.
going to work. So you have to go all in on each of the aspects that you choose to do because that's how you're going to get the result.
And take one task at a time.
All right, next one. How do I cope with resistance to change from those around me, such as family, friends, or colleagues? The way you deal with it and cope is you keep doing what you know you need to be doing. You be the example. You lead from the front. You take care of what you need to be doing and let the rest fall where it is, right? You cannot be worried about your friends and your family and your colleagues and what are they going to think and how are they going to handle this and how, because then you don't even know if that's how they're going to handle it anyways. So you're going through these motions and these thoughts that might not even be things anyways. And it's up to them to see what you're doing and say, hey, you know what? I want to do more of that. Hey, I want to do this. And then they can come to you and ask information or ask for guidance or ask for help, or they cannot, right? But it's not up to you to help them cope. You be you, you be the beacon, you be the leader, focus in on yourself. And by you doing that, the ones that want to join you are going to be drawn towards that and they'll make themselves known. The ones that don't, that's okay too.
You're going to feel that tap, 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 tap and start asking questions about certain things. Then you know they're interested in what you're doing and they do want to learn. So you can give them little crumbs, a little help at a time to help them on that motion.
And a lot of times,
but not too much information all at once because you'll overwhelm them. And then they're not going to want to do what you're doing and take the steps.
And the question was, how do you handle resistance to change? You don't worry about the resistance. If there's resistance, great. Keep pushing forward. Don't worry about it. You play with the resistance by continuing to do what you know you need to do. And if they resist, that's on them, right? And so you keep doing what you know you need to do. You keep showing up. You keep putting in the actions, and their resistance is either going to continue to grow or it's going to fall by the wayside because they're like, oh, they're actually doing it this time. Okay.
Yes.
And the other thing is, when you're on your journey, a lot of people try to recruit everybody to be on their journey with them. And that's not your job either. You don't need to be going over, hey, you need to do this, and hey, you need to do that.
No.
Hey, you can lose a few
Nobody
pounds.
wants to hear that.
It's like, no. That's the walls that start coming up because anyone who's on a new journey wants everyone to join in on the journey, but maybe they're not ready for the journey yet.
Yes,
and
do you first.
That's the resistance a lot of times people feel is like they want people to be on the journey with them when they're on the journey because they're ready for the journey. If they're not ready for the journey yet, it's not their time, right? And that's the resistance and the walls that come up is everyone's trying to get everyone to do everything with them because they're ready, but they're not.
Don't attempt to pull everyone around you.
No.
Do you. You.
And less of this, less talking.
Do it.
And more action, right? Don't tell them what you're going to do. Just do it and they will see, right? Your actions speak louder than your words. Take the actions, silence the this.
Don't say a word.
And just do what you need to do and they will see. And the ones that want more information, the ones that are curious, the ones that they will. The other ones,
that's where you give your
okay
energy.
Too.
And then that's where you give your energy. For
not
the ones
everybody
that want to come your way.
Yeah, and not everybody will, and that's okay. Everyone has their own life and own journey to live.
And their own time frame.
And if they're not ready when you are, that's okay. Let them be. You do you. Take the actions you need to take, and let the resistance be. Let it go.
Throw it aside.
What is a good way to stay consistent with my goals when I hit a roadblock or face a challenge?
We talk about that a lot.
Yeah, you got to keep moving, right? You
Don't
can't
stop.
let that challenge or that roadblock or that obstacle or that hurdle or that derailment or, that pitfall stand in your way and stop you. You
Put the shoulder pads on.
You just got to go.
And just break through it.
Right? And the more that you do this, the more you're like, okay, here comes another one, go. Here comes another one, go.
Yes.
And so you start feeling like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I hit a wall, I move. Or hey, I'm going to push through that.
I went through it. Yep.
Right? And so the resistance that it starts falling down because you're like, oh, I've done this before. Okay,
Yes.
we've had this. And so the challenges aren't major challenges anymore because no matter what it is, you're going to get through it. You're going to get past it. You're going to get to the other side.
And it's changing your mindset and knowing automatically that you're going to get through it. No matter what it's going to be, you're going to get through it. So you're already prepared and ready in a stance. Anything that come your way, you're going to handle it.
Yeah. And that's the main thing. It's like you have to just go and just be and keep moving no matter what's coming in your way.
You.
And you'll start seeing, and actually looking forward to those as like test days, ways to grow, ways to get stronger.
To push
instead
harder.
of looking at it as a bad thing. You're like, okay, here's the challenge for today. Here's today's challenge. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's attack it.
And you might even force a challenge. You might even want to make a challenge happen just to test it to see if that helps you in the long run.
To make you stronger. And most of the time,
Yes.
it makes you stronger. All right, last question for today. How do I deal with energy vampires and negative influences in my life?
You go that way, you go that way. They don't come in your circle. Don't let them in your circle. And once you know that they're the vampires, because you need to figure that out first.
No,
but it
normally
seems
you
like
know.
you know already. So don't have them in your circle at all.
Once they've been identified, you have to let them go. Because if you continue to surround yourself with that, you're going to fall back into that, right? And that's what they
Yes.
want. They want
wanna
you
pull you
to
back
come
down.
back to where they are. And so you have to cut them loose and let them grow and change at their rate and at their
Yep.
speed. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But you have to be so focused on where you're at and get rid of anything and everything that's in your
Out of your
way
lane.
that is going to stop you or hold you back or bring you back down or those types of things. You have to let the time, the negative influences and the vampires, you got to let them go. And you've got to start putting yourself around people who
Yes.
are speaking well into your life, who are helping you, who are encouraging you.
Who care about you.
That's what you need right now, not the other people that are
are
wanting
opposite.
to keep you where you are or wanting who you used to be. They want you to keep coming back to that. And so they're going to try to pull you back down. You need to cut the rope,
You are.
let them go, and you focus moving forward and finding new people to hang around with, new
And
people
you'll meet them.
to be in your sphere
and you'll
of
meet
influence.
them automatically.
Because you're moving forward. You're on a
Right.
different path.
You might have a one period that you don't have anybody around you at all. But that's okay because you're headed towards something bigger and better.
And if you're here, right now, you have
You're
us.
on the right path.
So, there is a thriving can-do community of people
Yes, we
who
are.
are here that aren't, energy vampires, who aren't time sucks, who aren't negative.
Who care about you.
Who care about you, who want the best for you, who want the biggest results for you. And that's where you need to be surrounding yourself with. People like that. Not people who want the opposite for you. The people who want you to stay the same. The people who want, you to stay comfortable for them so they don't have to look in the mirror and say, okay, well, maybe I should change, right?
Yes.
And so
You don't need to change.
surround yourself. You do need to change and continue to change and change and change and change and grow. And they're going to have to figure out eventually that they should do that as well. Some will, some won't. And that's not your responsibility. Your
Right.
responsibility is you, where you are, and what you're doing.
And you have to cut the rope.
So surround yourself with people who speak well into your life, who want the best for you, who are encouraging you, who are uplifting you, who also challenge you though and push you and give you a swift
Yes,
kick.
and you'd be okay with that.
And hold you accountable because that's what you need as well, right? It's
Yeah.
not always, sunshine and rainbow. Sometimes you got to have that
That
push.
serious conversation.
And so that's what the Can Do community is about. That's what the Can Do conversations are about
Yes.
too. Having those, conversations and speaking and figuring things out so we can all continue to move and grow
And rise
and
up
expand.
together.
All right, guys, thank you so much. We appreciate you
Take
joining
care.
us on this
Thank you for the
Q&A
questions.
episode. Make sure you keep your questions coming in. And in the meantime, we love you guys. And remember, we
Take
can
care.
do it, and so can you. Bye.
Bye.